45 blast! Look at QB go! Let's go! Attack! 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 Set alert! Set alert! Set alert! Set alert! 11! 11! That's okay! Ball! 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 Hey! Oh! Go! 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 He's out of bounds. They're hitting him when he's out of bounds. Come on, they're downfield, Joe. They're downfield, Ben. They had linemen downfield. Hey, he's grabbing the outside backer. He just grabbed the outside backer. Oh, no, that's naughty. That's naughty. He wouldn't do that.
Steve Young takes the snap. He's straight back. He looks to throw. Now, intercepted by Todd Bell. Bell rattles it over now to Richardson. Who rattles it down. And it's taken by Tampa Bay down the right sideline. This Zepplin's going to go all the way for the touchdown.
Looks to the right side, Anderson with a catch at the 15, sideline, 5, leaps in the end zone, touchdown. I saw it, and I don't even believe it.
Let's see if they try to get some pressure on Roby.
Now they're going to play it safe, but he dropped the football, and Brett Park's going to bring him down at the 15. Here's a lateral as Roby got it to Jensen. Jensen now trying to load up and throw. Wide open over here on the near side. Miami's got a receiver at midfield. To the 45, 40. Inside the 30, he might go all the way. And now a loose football again. What a crazy play. It's loose in the end zone, and the Falcons are on top of it. I've never seen anything like this. Maybe the craziest play in the history of the Orange Bowl. We just saw it.
It is no miracle. The Broncos are going to the Super Bowl because they earned the trip.
You are traveling on a road that can't be located on any map. You enter in September, exit in January. And a love of pro football is the ticket that transports you to a world that is by turns wondrous and weird. In 1986, the road to the Super Bowl was often difficult to navigate.
McGee on the kickoff at the 5, 10, 15, 6, bobbles the ball, it's loose, the Chiefs will pick it up, it's picked up by Kevin Lawrence, he's in the end zone, touchdown!
The season was notable for strange makeup and unexpected makeovers. An official became a dancing zebra. And to play on the gridiron seemed like a day at the beach.
Over the middle, and it is up in the air. Carter battling, looks like volleyball. Is it a catch? It is! That is the strangest play I've ever seen. That'll make the highlight film.
Eric Dickerson is a human highlight film, breathlessly and beautifully paced. In Week 5 against Tampa Bay,
He produced the season's most spectacular rushing performance, and his 2 touchdowns included a game-winning score in overtime.
Going back is Dickerson. They come up the middle. Dickerson breaks to the 40, 35, 30, 15. He's down to the 10, 5, touchdown, and the Rams win it. And that puts him over 200 yards.
But the league's best rusher was also the league's worst fumbler. And he turned over the ball 3 times in the Rams' wild card loss to Washington. Another great runner who experienced a dramatic fall from grace was Marcus Allen. In a Week 12 overtime thriller at San Diego, the Raiders were in need of a hero, and Allen responded.
Hand off to Allen. Follows a block off the right side of the 18, to the 15, to the 10. He breaks a tackle at the 5. He drives to the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders! A magnificent 28 yards of determination by Marcus Allen.
But just 1 week later, determination gave way to devastation during an overtime drive against Philadelphia.
Hand off to Allen. He fumbles. Picked up by Waters. Waters at the 15, the 20, the 30, the 40. He might go all the way.
In this stunning defeat, Allen demonstrated that the role of man of the hour can vanish in a matter of seconds.
His tackle on the 3-yard line, the most astounding turn of fate any dramatist would have ever conceived.
During 1986, the NFL's once proud dynasties were swept from streets paved with gold onto storm-tossed, rubbled alleyways. The debris included the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Chuck Noll was not the only great coach absent from the playoffs. Also among the missing were Miami's Don Shula and Dallas's Tom Landry. Behind versatile Herschel Walker, number 34, the Cowboys won 6 of their first 8 games. But in the season's second half, Dallas managed just 1 victory and wound up with a losing record for the first time since 1964. Yet hot streaks and dry spells were not just the province of the vanquished. Playoff-bound teams experienced them as well.
The Broncos have gone from one extreme to another and then absolutely crash-landed.
Well, the Rams, it's been a season of transition, sort of, anyway.
The Cleveland Browns' 1986 season was indeed one of overcoming adversity.
This has been an up-and-down year for the Kansas City Chiefs.
The surprising Chiefs kept advancing in the playoff chase, despite an offense that displayed a penchant for pie-in-the-face slapstick. Quarterback Todd Blackledge, number 14, provided a major source of frustration for head coach John Mackovic.
When you get me 2nd and 19, man, I am really struggling for a play. 2nd and 10, I can do all kinds of things. You get 2nd and 19, I am struggling.
But an opportunistic defense and a special teams unit that blocked 9 kicks combined for an amazing 10 touchdowns. 3 special teams touchdowns were produced in a playoff-clinching win at Pittsburgh on the season's final week.
Yeah, we gotta block Tino. We gotta block it. Hey, tell Billy Bond to go back to where he was before, put feet on the inside.
Gary Newsom, 5 yards deep in his own end zone. The punt is blocked. It's blocked. The Chiefs recover in the end zone. Touchdown. Here's the soccer-style kickoff, low-line drive, end over end, taken on a bounce at the 3 by Boyce Drain, up the middle of the 10. 15, breaks the tackle, 20, 25, 30, up the middle, 40, he's gone!
A 24-19 victory earned the Chiefs their first playoff berth in 15 seasons.
The Chiefs are in the playoffs! The Chiefs are in the playoffs! Yes, Kansas City, there is a Santa Claus.
Come here. Come on in. Hey, let's take a knee right here first, guys. That's the first thing.
Show you right, Coach. Bring out that champagne, Coach. Bring out that champagne, Coach.
first thing we ought to do, honestly, is just take a knee.
There you go. There it is. That's
I'll
it.
tell you what, you guys know what it's like. You know what it's like to have done this. Nobody believed we could do it, and we did it. Okay.
John Mackovic's journey on the road to the Super Bowl was bittersweet. 3 weeks after this victory, he was fired as head coach of the Chiefs. In 1986, center stage was dominated by quarterbacks. There were beginnings, new stars with young arms, and endings, fading veterans with tired bodies. It was a position where imitation was not always the sincerest form of flattery. Quarterbacks possessed the vision, but they were not blindly followed. And often their decline and fall came swifter than gladiators in ancient Rome.
Check 94!
Boomer Esiason and the Bengals crashed one step short of the playoffs.
Hey, listen. If it comes to holding, all right, hold or sack, hold their guys, seriously.
Like Esiason, few quarterbacks remained upright on the road to Super Bowl 21. While every team was hit with blitzes and blindsides, no team caved in like the Philadelphia Eagles, whose quarterbacks fell under a blizzard of 104 sacks, an NFL record. But it was an avalanche of injuries that buried the hopes of many teams. The broken hand of Danny White left the Dallas Cowboys without a wing or a prayer. A series of injuries to Jim McMahon crippled the Chicago Bears and focused attention on Doug Flutie. Mike Ditka saw the little big man as a savior, but the Washington Redskins turned the playoffs into the little bighorn for the world champions. In Buffalo, another newcomer was handed his head. But Jim Kelly survived and gave the lowly Bills a taste of the high life and a glimpse of an exciting future. Tommy Kramer's past appeared brighter than his future, but the often injured Viking quarterback became the top-rated passer in the NFL. However, for cold facts and a hot hand, there was one name and one number, as Dan Marino almost strong-armed the Dolphins into the playoffs. He threw for an incredible 44 touchdowns and became the first quarterback to pass for over 4,000 yards in 3 different seasons.
Flea flicker coming up, man wide open, Marino, this is going to go for a touchdown to Mark Cooper. Off the flea flicker.
Marino ended 1986 as unquestionably the year's finest quarterback. But when the season began, everyone was shouting the name of a tall Irishman.
To the right, I formation. Schuler in motion to the far side. O'Brien's back to throw. O'Brien throwing long down the sideline for Walker. And he got it! Touchdown! 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 The Jets win it! Touchdown! Wesley Walker with his 4th touchdown reception. The Jets are going berserk. The Jets win it 51-45. What an unbelievable finish.
Ken O'Brien not only bested Marino in an electrifying head-to-head duel, he generaled the Jets to victories in 10 of their first 11 games.
O'Brien is back to throw. O'Brien being rushed. O'Brien throwing long down the sideline for Toon in the end zone. Touchdown, Al Toon!
Just as O'Brien and the Jets were stitching together a Super Bowl season, everything unraveled. The Jets stumbled out of first place, then staggered out of the playoffs as the once cool, calm, and collected O'Brien ended up baffled, beleaguered, and battered. While O'Brien finished 1986 flat on his back, Joe Montana started the season that way. And his triumphant return from spinal surgery was the most heartwarming story of the year.
Well, I was nervous and excited. I was glad to be back, but butterflies were a little bigger. They were these big monarchs, I think, instead of the little tiny moth type. I was afraid of coming back and not being able to perform as well as I had before I left.
49er teammates compared the valiant Montana to Lancelot when he led his team to the NFC Western title. But in the crusade to the Super Bowl, the White Knight needed more than armor and chainmail to protect himself from the New York Giants.
37 seconds to go. Montana inside the 10. Throws wildly. Intercepted. There goes Taylor down to the 20. 10. Touchdown. LT. Way to go. And Montana's hurt. This
Lancelot was carried off on his shield. And for the 49ers and many NFL teams, the road to the Super Bowl was littered with quarterbacks. In a year of quarterbacks, one of the most successful didn't even want to be one.
Baseball is my first love. There's no doubt about it. And when I was growing up, the only thing I wanted to be was the next Johnny Bench. He was my idol and everything else. And unfortunately, things didn't work out, and I was able to fall back on football.
Jay Schroeder turned the Redskins from a running team into a passing team, winning 12 of 16 regular season games in the process.
13:32 to go in overtime. Quick out on the far side to Clark. Spins away from his man at the 30, 25, 20. Scoots down the sideline. Is he gone? Touchdown, Washington Redskins. In overtime, they beat the Vikings.
The nation's capital loved its new-look team.
Well, programming lineup here. Programming lineup.
But for Schrader's Redskins, the road to Super Bowl 21 passed through Soldier Field, Chicago.
Bears showing a little blitz. Here they come. Quick release by Schrader. Got it up in the air. Got a man there. Complete into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington Redskins. Art Monk pulls it in.
Jay Schrader, a minor league reject with a major league arm, who passed the Redskins to the NFC Championship game.
In the slot left side is Webster Slaughter. Kosar long. Hey! Into the house! Marshall at the 45, and he's going to go all the way down the right sideline.
For Bernie Kosar and the Cleveland Browns, the transition from running team to passing team didn't go quite so smoothly. They did find a way to beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh, the Browns' first win in Three River Stadium since it opened back in 1970.
Confidence in you. It's just you've been growing in stature every week.
Thank you.
I just
feel good leading this team.
A mysterious mid-season loss to the Packers left the Browns mired in mediocrity, and their fans were perplexed. But by season's end, the young man on the hot seat had Browns fans singing a totally different tune. Kosar recovered from a shaky start to complete more passes to more receivers than any NFL quarterback except Miami's Dan Marino.
that champagne to our stadium, fellas. No way, man. We're going to drink it.
Kosar fakes a handoff to Dickey, going to throw, wants all of it. Deep down the left side. Slaughter open. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Browns!
Cleveland rebounded to win 8 of its final 9 games to clinch the AFC Central Division title.
What we have accomplished here is merely something that we expected. Your performance today proves one thing. Talent may win games, but teams win championships.
Yes. All right, Russ! All right, baby! Yeah!
It's the Browns against the Jets here at Cleveland Stadium as the Browns bid for their first playoff victory since 1969. Cleveland with a lot of momentum after the regular season, primarily through the offensive heroics of Bernie Kosar.
With less than a minute to play against the Jets, the Browns trailed by a field goal.
Take them all the way, Bernie. Take them home.
Bernie throwing deep down the left side. Slaughter is open. He got the ball at the 5-yard line.
I'll tell you what, those people at left better come on back because this ball game is not over.
Now here's the snap, the hole, the kick is up. It is good, and the game is tied. The Browns have come back from an unbelievable disaster to tie it.
Twice in the 2 overtime periods, Kosar led his team into field goal range, and the second time was the charm.
We are going to win.
Here we go. 37-yard attempt. The kick is up. It is good. The Browns have won the game. The Browns have won the game in double overtime. 23-20.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Super Bowl.
A young quarterback today threw for 489 yards to bring his team back in the final 3 minutes of regulation play, and the Browns will play for the AFC Championship, folks.
For the Denver Broncos, the light at the end of the 1986 season was in Pasadena, but on the road to Super Bowl 21, these Broncos would need a firm hand to guide them, something that was supplied by head coach Dan Reeves.
Okay, man. Games like this won by great plays, by great individuals. We got a bunch of them on this team. Let's make sure we're going hard to get them, all right? Let's get after it.
From the beginning, Denver sported that unmistakable look of a champion as they won 8 of their first 9 games. Denver's offense used imagination. Their defense used quickness and muscle. And together they stirred up an orange wave of excitement that rocked the Rockies. There are over 62,000 fans on the waiting list for Broncos season tickets. And in Denver, the only thing worse than not having a ticket is not using it.
In attendance today, 76,082 people, meaning there are 46 tickets unused.
This colorful fanaticism is known as Bronco-mania.
Go Broncos! #1! Yeah!
This fevered epidemic once again lifted the decibel level in Denver's Mile High Stadium to a deafening roar. And nothing ignited their emotion like the Bronco defense. Denver's style was built around cleverly designed fronts and quickness. It was fueled by a mixture of crafty veterans and punishing youngsters.
Eason's dropped to the 25. The pressure. Roland Jones will get the sack at the 27.
Out the way! Get him, baby!
Denver's defense was third in the AFC, and they took the ball away 35 times. The ability to turn defense into offense has always been a Bronco strength. But at 4 defensive touchdowns in 1986, None was more important than the one that sealed a Week 9 victory over the rival Los Angeles Raiders.
Come on, defense. Let's get him, baby. One more down. Look at him holding. Get it,
Wilson at the 15-yard line. The pass is intercepted by Harden. And Harden's at the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Mike Harden returns the touchdown. Mike Harden's second interception of the game. And he may be up there lighting the Olympic flame.
Denver's D was built around 19 interchangeable players, but the offense was built around just one. Quarterback John Elway, number 7.
3 wide receivers, a couple of running backs, and Elway, who could be a little bit of everything. And hand the ball to Sewell, and Sewell wants to throw the pass to John Elway.
No other quarterback can beat you in so many different ways. And he is the master of the inconceivable pass, thrown to the unreachable spot. Elway's legendary arm strength allows him to throw the ball between the tiniest gaps in a defense.
He has the strongest arm I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen a guy move that kind of arm in my life. The ball moves so fast, I turned my head and it was there.
With John Elway, each play has 2 acts. There's the one he calls in the huddle, and the one that he runs when he's out of it. Quite often, the second is not the same as the first, but more often than not, it succeeds. Elway has won more games over the last 3 seasons than any other quarterback. But in the second half of the season, the rest of the league began taking both he and the Broncos very seriously.
Gotta watch out, these guys are coming low in there. I got punched in the in a pile, so be careful in there. They're not fooling around.
Denver lost 4 of their final 7 games. And even the simple things became hard.
3 points, let's go! That's good, that's good!
Though they won the AFC's Western Division, the Orange was crushed by Kansas City and humiliated by Seattle 41-16 to win the regular season. 2 weeks of doubt and uncertainty followed, and against New England in the playoffs, the road to Pasadena turned even more treacherous. Elway suffered a badly sprained ankle, and though the defense was back to form, by the 3rd quarter, a Patriot lead had all but silenced Mile High Stadium.
Make some noise!
It was time to prove that the Broncos had a heart to equal their talent. And led by John Elway, Denver went looking for their first playoff win in 9 years.
13 New England, and the Patriots jump offside. Elway's got a free down.
First, the offense regained the lead.
Throws it long up the far side, looking for Vance Johnson. Touchdown!
Then, with barely a minute remaining, the defense made it final.
Eason stands at the 5, takes the snap and drops to the goal line. He's sacked in the end zone, folks. Roland Jones right up the middle. Safety. It is a 2-pointer for the Broncos, who lead 22-17.
Denver's come-from-behind victory erased the doubt, restored their confidence, and sent them to Cleveland, where they would battle the Browns in the AFC Championship game. The New York Giants' 1985 season ended in Chicago. As they walked bitterly off Soldier Field, they began taking the first steps on this year's road to the Super Bowl.
Well, I think last year, as a team, we really wasn't sure if we could make it to the Super Bowl. The Bears were such a dominating team, and I really didn't feel that the team really felt they had a big chance to make it to the Super Bowl or really win that game. This year, I think the attitude has changed.
The Giants prepared themselves physically and mentally. Their blood, sweat, and tears reflected the sacrifices they knew they had to make. No diversions, no obstacles. No player better epitomized this single-minded approach than number 56, Lawrence Taylor. In 1986, Taylor bounced back from personal problems rediscovering the old-fashioned work ethic that had made him a legend. Led by Taylor, the Giant defense made life miserable for quarterbacks. On offense, the Giants attacked with the same drive and energy. The power was Joe Morris, the little running back who set a single-season team rushing record. The punch was Mark Bavaro, the brooding tight end who may have set an NFL season record for intensity.
I tell you, he's a stone face, that Bavaro now. You know what the hell he's thinking. I'd hate to have to fight that son of a gun.
Opposing secondaries did, but with little results. The Giants also had a fighter at quarterback. In 1986, Phil Simms used his strong arm and stout heart to unify a team.
There was a time where I felt the offense didn't have a leader. There was just a bunch of guys up there playing and trying to not lose a game. And they didn't have one person to really tie them all together and to lead them anywhere. Phil has really taken on that responsibility, and he has done a very good job.
Simms engineered a number of startling last-second victory drives, including back-to-back triumphs over the Vikings and Broncos that stamped the Giants as a team of destiny.
10 seconds on the clock. Snap, the spot, the kick, it's off, it is good!
Thanks to Bill Parcells, their very damp and very direct head coach, Harry Carson and company, never fell into complacency.
I'm proud of my guys. They're fighters. I think our franchise is showing some progress here, but we've still got a lot to do. Do I feel pretty confident? No, well, we got a ways to go. It's not over. A lot of people think this race is over. I thought it'd go 16 weeks, and now that just makes next week's game much more important for us, and because we have a chance to win the championship next week, and we got to do it.
3rd and 12. The ball is on the 16. Simms is back at the 25, looking for a target. He's going end zone. Touchdown! What a catch by Phil McCarthy in the back corner.
The Giants toppled the Redskins for their first divisional crown in 23 years, despite rising to the top of the NFL with their 14-2 record. This lunch pail bunch remained as down-to-earth as the swampland surrounding their stadium. Their working-class image was personified by people like Jim Burt, the all-pro nose tackle, and 7-Eleven proprietor.
Thank you very much. You need all luck you get.
Like Burt, the Giants were into delis, not discos. Jeeps instead of Jaguars. They lived in the heart of the world's greatest mass media center, but never gave thought to hitting the airwaves with a Super Bowl shuffle.
We're going to try to win all the ball games we can and not worry about the other things. Those things will fall into place. And, we don't really worry about videos. We don't have a lot of guys who can sing anyway.
We're just basic blue-collar workers.
They also play in New Jersey. This prompted New York City Mayor Ed Koch to preempt a traditional Broadway ticker tape parade should the Giants reach the Super Bowl. In neighboring Moonachie, however, a few kindred spirits came to the rescue. Blue-collar people do stick together.
What we plan on doing is having the aerial trucks and snorkels line up along Moonachie Avenue. And once they reach their height, we would have men go up to the top, and we would be feeding them with confetti. And as the Giants are passing underneath, we will be throwing the confetti down to them.
Moonachie or Manhattan? Without a victory in their divisional playoff against San Francisco, it would all become a moot point.
Stacy Robinson split right. The flanker on the right side is Manuel. He's the motion man. Simms is looking for a target. Simms, end zone, touchdown Bavaro! in the backfield. Lamar is coming left across the line of scrimmage. Going to go!
One year after their bitter defeat in Chicago, Lawrence Taylor and the Giants won one of the most lopsided playoff games in NFL history, crushing the 49ers 14-9-3. The New York Giants are the New Jersey Giants. In 1986, no NFL team steered a straighter course on the road to the Super Bowl. By January 11th, the road to the Super Bowl had narrowed to frigid Cleveland and windswept New Jersey. At these two sites, attention was focused on four high-profile quarterbacks. In the AFC Championship, Denver's John Elway faced the Browns' Bernie Kosar, while the NFC featured Washington's Jay Schroeder against Phil Simms of the Giants. But the fate of both games rested on the broad back of defense. Defenders had led these teams into the playoffs. Now they were ready to prove the old axiom: offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships.
Man, this is the one you work for all your life right here, okay?
We've come too damn far. I'm telling you, to be denied. Let's go. Let's get the let's go.
Take your belts all the way. We'll take the win.
Special teams set the stage. This was a day for defense to dominate.
There's a gleam, man. There's a gleam. Let's get the gleam, all right? Let's go.
Complete touchdown, Lionel Manuel.
Elway pitching. The Broncos bring it to the right side, and Wilhite dives in for the touchdown. Gerald Wilhite.
In both games, points were precious and few. Deep into the fourth quarter, no team had reached 20 points as the defensive pace continued to accelerate.
What you got to do is bring the energy up.
the violent swirl, two defenses emerged. The all-out attack of the New York Giants seemed to mirror the swarming style of the Denver Broncos. Each team had led its conference in defense against the run, and the similarity was not a coincidence. Giant defensive coordinator Bill Belichick had learned much of his theory as an assistant under Denver's Joel Collier. Belichick's version of Collier's sophisticated 3-4 proved too much for Washington. 18 times the Redskins tried to convert a third or fourth down play into 1st and 10. 18 times they failed. At the end, great defense wiped out Washington 17-0, and Giant fans solved the ticker tape parade question by staging their own victory party, complete with drinks all around.
Program, newspaper, confetti, pouring down like a blizzard on Giant Stadium as the Giants go crazy on the far sideline. And the Giants will be checking their reservation for Pasadena.
In Cleveland, Brown fans also had a reason to celebrate. Late in the fourth quarter, Bernie Kosar had finally solved the Bronco defense with one big play. Brian Brennan's catch gave the Browns a 20-13 lead, and the game seemed all but over.
And the Broncos are 98 yards away from where they need to go. Still 5 minutes to go, but they need something out of this drive.
An offensive hero finally emerged on this day of defense.
Come on, Johnny!
John Elway took charge of what will be henceforth known as simply the drive.
Pass for Sewell, got it and keeps it at the 48-yard line. And Denver loses 8. We'll have 3rd down and 18.
Come on, stick it to him, baby! Stick it to him! He's got it! Oh my God! Come on, John, you can do it! You can do it!
Touchdown!
The drive's momentum carried Denver into overtime and on to victory. One stop remains on the road to the Super Bowl. The Denver Broncos will send their newly minted hero out to face the New York Giants' awesome defense for the right to be called